Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another recorded Minisode episode of the MFR Coaches Podcast. I'm joined today by one of my coaching clients, Margaret Hinrichs from Memphis, Tennessee. Margaret, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Yeah, this is going to be so fun. Okay, so why don't we just get right into all the details? Tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you came to coaching, and then tell us what's happening for you now.
Well, before coaching, I had the dream of being an MFR therapist.
Mhm.
Have I found myofascial release through being an occupational therapist, and I just gotten to a place when I met you. I had gotten to a place where I was like, something's got to change in my life. I don't know what it is, but something has to change. And you happened to be at cervical thoracic and stood up there and talked. I bought your book, and yeah, it was just, let's go from there. I was just like, okay, you tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. Like, I was just all in, on board. I was operating so far outside of my body at that time in my life that, you know, even during coaching, I told you, I didn't know I couldn't feel my feet when I was
Oh,
walking. And then about halfway through the first round of coaching, I started to feel my feet on the ground when I was walking. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. I'm glad to come back into my body a little bit now, and the value that coaching has played into that even a year later is that now I can recognize when I'm starting to leave my body, or, and I can slow down. I
mhm.
can recognize it. I can allow for it if I need to. And I know that it's going to come to an end.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
have the
so
tools.
incredible. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so incredible. So you are an OT. You
Yeah.
you were working in the school system when we first met, and you really had this desire to be done with that position and open your own practice. Can you tell everybody kind of like what your journey has been like and if you've met that goal?
Well, the journey has been every bit of amazing. Roller coaster up and down, but some of the highest highs I've felt in my entire life. And so, you know, I I just I couldn't be happier for deciding to do this, with you by my side and coaching me along the way. Um, you know, when I started out, I thought I'm going to be mobile and carry a table and do all of these things, and then started to realize, wow, that's going to be a lot of work.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so just making the simple decisions of getting a space, that was huge. I did not even think that wasn't even on my radar. um,
Surprise.
so that, getting my space. And then by the end of the first round of coaching, I had my first client, which I was just so overjoyed about. And I had been treating clients like friends and family on the side, so I was doing the work. I had been going to seminars for 7 years. I knew this is what I wanted to do. I also knew that whenever I decided to do it, it was gonna have to be all in,
Mhm.
because I just knew that it was gonna require me to encompass the work, not just perform the work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what we do is we live the work that we do. We walk the walk. So by the end of this summer, the decision had been made. So I had my first round of coaching ended in June of last year.
Mhm.
And by the end of that summer, before the school year started back up, um, I informed them that I would be coming back part-time.
Okay. That was a big deal. Do you remember how scary that was?
That like my stomach just dropped by me saying that.
Yeah.
It was a big deal because we all, well, not we all, but a lot of people, and including me at the time, I had that thought in my head, like, there's no way I can carry my own insurance. Oh, and especially not for me and my spouse.
Yeah.
Because we could get it through my husband's job, but it was ridiculous. So, I just I I did my research.
You gathered
And
your facts.
I gathered my facts,
Yeah.
and it opened my eyes to see that, like, I have options,
Mhm.
you know, if I will allow for them.
Yeah. So what did you like, what did you uncover that you were able to do by finding those facts? What kind of decisions did that help you make?
It helped me make the decision first off to, I guess, so gathered facts and made the decision, called, I was just very honest and upfront and forthcoming, gathering my facts and knowing the reasons behind my decision and liking my reasons
Mhm.
behind my decisions. It makes it all so much easier to choose what works best for you, your business, and you show us that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's magical in
I love
itself.
that. I love knowing that too. Okay, so you told
So
me
progressing,
before we started recording, you were like, you told me something really big, like some big news. So
yeah.
let's tell us, like, what was today?
Today was my last day at the school.
Ah! Okay, so if you thought I just like I have full body goosebumps. Like,
Me
I'm
too.
like, congratulations.
Thank
Like, I'm
you.
so glad we have this on. I'm so glad we have this recorded, like the day it happened. Um, Tell me if you knew that you were going to be able to do this last year, like what would old you think about you right now having this be your last day at school?
Oh, wow. Um,
Can you
old
believe
me,
it?
old me would just say, you have good things coming. There are good things
Yeah.
ahead of you. Just don't give up.
Yeah.
That's what old me would say, you
Mhm.
know, and just don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You know,
Can you even believe this?
I'm
Like,
still wrapping my head around it.
yeah. So tell us
And
more, like so you quit your job because like what's going on in your MFR business? You're not a mobile
well,
practitioner.
I'm
What is
not
it
a
like?
mobile practitioner. I have a space inside of a massage spa that, it works great for me now.
Mhm.
And God, I keep brain farting.
That's okay.
Um,
You can have brain farts on these minisodes.
yeah. So I have my own space. My schedule is I work 3.5 days a week. Well, I will be now that I'm not going to Arkansas for a day.
Mhm.
But something that I wanted to highlight as we were talking about the schedule change was about a month and a half into the school year. I kept having to go into the bathroom and deep breathe and calm myself down and all of the things. And so I took the coaching that you had given me and I applied it, and I stopped and I was like, okay, what is not working about this?
Mm.
You know, what doesn't I was tired and I was stressed and I wasn't able to show up for my clients. I was
Mhm.
going there, I was driving an hour there, seeing kids back to back for 8 hours and driving an hour home.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even ask anybody. I just made the decision and I called them and I said, listen, I need to go down to 5 to 6 hours a day, um, 2 days a week. I said,
Mhm.
and pretty soon I'm probably going to go down to just one day a week. That
Mhm.
I'll keep you guys in the loop,
This
but
is my
that's
plan. This is
this
my
is my
exit plan.
plan.
Yeah.
And at the end of May, I plan on being done at the
Mhm.
school. And they were like, okay, just keep us in the loop.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you surprised that they were so flexible with that? Because didn't it really seem like you had to be available, you had to work whatever they wanted you to work, which was also part of the exhaustion, not having like control over that.
yeah, it felt like it until it wasn't. It felt
Yeah.
that way until it wasn't, until I realized that actually I have a lot more control over what goes on in my world. Life is not just happening to me, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. I mean, those are like big uncoverings. Like when I first figured out that life wasn't just happening to me and that I was in control of my results, like a lot of the time, sometimes we don't control
Right.
circumstances, right?
Yeah.
But it it was so freeing for me, and I continue to learn and like build upon and explore what that means, right? Like being able to make decisions quickly or do do things because I want to and not because I get permission to do it. Like I get to give myself permission to do it. And
Right.
it's so weird sometimes. Like sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. Or that only took me one day to make that decision where that would normally take me an entire year to be able to act on that. So it's fun to hear other people
Exactly.
doing that too.
And the same things, like I loved the work that I did, but it at a certain point, it's just time for a change. That's not the season of my life anymore. But
Mhm.
I can see where I was in the therapist that I worked with there as this transformation in my life and building my business has occurred,
Mhm.
and where they feel like they have to go and do and push and do all of the things that aren't even part of their job that are really stressing them out, when all you really have to do is decide, I don't have time to do that. I can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Or
like,
don't
I'm
even
not
say,
gonna continue to be a cog in the wheel
yeah,
system, like, it's not healthy, so I'm gonna opt out, and
yeah,
probably everything's still gonna be fine. I
yeah, yeah.
so
And
weird, yeah.
so, I mean, just to be able to see that from the outside of
Mhm,
that's where I was.
mhm.
And now I'm in the place where I don't feel obligated to do things. I don't feel like I should do this because this person offered me this opportunity. I can
Yeah,
look at it and say, does this align with what I'm doing with my business and where my business is headed?
yeah. Does this
And
feel
then
good
I
to
can
me?
say,
Yeah.
yeah, does this feel good? Does this feel fun?
Mhm.
you
I
know,
love that. It's such a great question to ask yourself, like, "Is this fun for me?" Because
yeah,
there's
because I
so many
got
things we do that, like, if you ask yourself that, you'd be like, "No, I don't even wanna be doing this," and then you can be like, "Why am I what am I doing?"
well, and I did that. I got into that place because I was like, I'm going to be done with my school job in January.
Mhm,
But I didn't set any goals to make that happen.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I know, now, second round of coaching, I evaluate every month. I'm looking at my numbers. I'm getting intimate with my business and all the processes.
Yeah, and doesn't that help you? I haven't talked to you in months, so I've really have no idea where your business is. But when we were ending coaching in the last round that you were in, like you were like calling in your best fit clients, charging the rate you wanted. You were just you had just it had just occurred to you that you could see pediatrics, you could specialize in pediatrics. And I was like, this is such a fun discovery that you had coming from peds OT, you silly goose, right? So tell us, like, what is your practice like now? What's happening for you?
Well, now I've been had fully booked weeks, which has
Amazing.
been awesome.
You
But
were giving yourself till July to get fully booked. Do you remember like one of our last conversations? You were like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for something. I think it was some sort of celebration and give myself till July to get fully booked to be able to go on this trip or something. And it's like
yeah,
May and you have had fully booked weeks.
yes, yes. So that is that. It all just comes down to your beliefs and your thoughts, and I have to stay on top of myself so I can show up for my clients and so I can show up for myself and my business how I want to.
Yeah.
That is really what, I mean, the root of it.
It's on purpose.
It's intentional. Yes, it's
Yeah,
done
it's
on
on purpose. It's not
purpose.
just happening to you. You're not just lucky. You didn't just build it and they would come, right? It's like I built something on purpose for the intended result of being fully booked and helping this exact amount of people. And that's what I'm doing. And that's
Yeah,
what's so fun.
like, my mind is blown. Like, I created $49,000 in my business in the first year.
That's
And
incredible.
like, I've only had one fully booked week. And I'm just like, what is going on here? This is so great. Like, and I just look at my hands and to make it real. And I just look, I'm like, I created this
Yeah. Can you
with
feel
my own
when
two
you say that
hands.
out loud? Do you feel your feet?
I feel my feet. I
That's so
do.
good.
I
That's so
do.
good. Yeah, like that's a really big accomplishment. And I would love to know, I don't know if you know these numbers offhand, so it's okay if you don't, but it'd be so amazing to know like how many hours did you work to create 50K?
It would be. Yeah.
You should find
If
that out and like just
yeah.
send me a message sometime. And then also, did you make that much money in your school job? And if so, like how many hours were required for you to make that amount of money?
No, I did not make that much in my school job. Um, and a lot more work.
Yeah.
I think it
Exhausting.
was a lot more work because I didn't want it to be. And I was also I set up my business to where I do my documentation how I want to, and I don't, it's that additional time that you have to spend doing all the documentation and all of that. It's just, it just creates so much stress in the therapist environment that you're trying to do all the things and you can't really be a therapist.
Because you're so worried about like dotting your I's and crossing your T's and making
Yeah.
sure you're doing it
So
right. Yeah.
as far as time goes, like when you're doing something that you really love doing, you're not wearing yourself out, you're completely present and there with your patient in that room during that time.
Mhm.
It's a lot less exhausting than trying to see as many patients as you can in a day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, just the difference in how that felt in my body talking about it, Heather,
Mhm.
is wild.
Yeah. Well, you look like a totally different person. Like you look so calm and grounded and happy and glowing. And
I
I
feel
love, like,
great.
this is why I do what I do. Like, I want every single MFR therapist to have this experience where they can just be in love with their business, but not just the part where you're in the room treating the patients, but like in love with your business, in love with your sales skills, in love with your ability to set policies and your hours and your pricing, like all of those things, and have made those decisions on purpose so that you can feel really proud of what you've created and the results that you get for your clients.
Right. Absolutely. Uh, and it all comes down, I mean, it all comes full circle. The
Mhm.
whole thing does. And, with coaching though, you help us to see like the power that we have in making those decisions. It's really hard to let go of, like, you'll catch yourself wondering, oh, I wonder what they would think. And then, it creeps up on you really quickly.
Yeah.
And especially with us being in the social media world, everybody's so opinionated. So
Mhm.
being able to let go of that, huge. But the work coaching, starting my own business, this whole thing was the self-improvement course I did not know I signed up for. And I would not change it for anything in this world.
Yeah. What did you think it was going to be when you signed up?
Oh, I thought it was going to be just kind of cut and dry and maybe just like cut and dry business stuff, basically,
Mhm.
and then like maybe you would help us with basically setting just the setup of it.
Mhm. Just kind of
That's
tell you what to do, like go do A, B, C, and D, and
Yeah,
then
like here are your options for this. Do one of these three,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
Kind of like a template, which you do provide us with certain templates per se,
Mhm.
but they're open-ended.
Yeah.
They're thought creating, they're things that make you think and explore what you really want.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think for some people, it's frustrating to find like to come in there and to be like, oh, I've got to do work to make this work. Like I don't just sign up for coaching and then I'm guaranteed this result. It's like you have to show up, you have to be coachable, you've got to put the actual thought work into it and be willing to make decisions when it's highly uncomfortable. And then you got to like keep doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and pushing yourself outside that and being willing to be uncomfortable is such a valuable thing.
Mhm.
Such a
'Cause we're
valuable
uncomfortable anyway. We're either like dissatisfied in our jobs or dissatisfied with our business, right? That's uncomfortable. Or we're uncomfortable changing those things to get to the part where we get to really love it. There's
Right.
discomfort either way, right?
Absolutely.
Like choose your discomfort. Which one do you want? Well, I want the
Yeah.
one that creates the result I want. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Absolutely. Let's do that one. It might be a little painful along the way, but we're
Yeah.
going to be working towards that result.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes we got to do it over and over again before we get there, but that's also not a problem. It's like, bring it. I'll coach you 100 times on the same thing if you really need it.
Well, I know you will. And I know you've coached my face off on certain things that I'm just like, sometimes I can have a really thick skull.
I think we all can. Sometimes I'm like, what? What does that mean? I don't understand.
But there's I have to say this, Heather, and And I'm just not going to be afraid to share this because it's part of my journey. And that, not knowing that it was okay to feel uncomfortable and just sit with that and just let it be.
Yeah.
Okay. And not knowing how to process, like really identify, what is that feeling? Okay. Why did I feel that way? What was I thinking?
Mhm.
Being able to have that power
Yeah.
helped me to stop reaching for alcohol because I was so afraid to feel, because my brain is like, it's a beautiful asshole. Like,
welcome. Yes.
like I am so mean to my brain is so mean to me. But now I can look at it as like, that's my brain just doing what it's done for a really long time.
Yeah. Yeah. It just didn't know any different. It didn't know there was different things to think.
So now I don't drink all the time anymore.
Yeah.
So where was I a year ago? I was not headed in a good direction. I mean, I was going to lose my marriage. I would probably end up losing my job. I was not on a good path.
Mhm.
But, sticking with MFR and sticking with, just really listening to John and taking the things that y'all say to heart, and John saying it's never too late to turn around. If you're on the wrong path, just turn around.
Yeah.
And I really heard him that time at cervical thoracic. And then you got up there, and then I bought your book and read the foreword. And Justine Calderwood was the very first MFR therapist at my very first seminar that I bonded with.
Yeah.
She
That's
wrote
so
the
fun.
foreword in your book. I'm getting chill bumps. And
Yeah.
so I'm
it's like
reading.
it's a small world. Like you never know the connections.
I was like, I'd already decided before we had our little consult. I was like, this is as good as done.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't have an exact reason, except I feel like this is what I need to do.
Yeah. That's so incredible. Sometimes we just know, or we don't even know yet. And then we just are willing to give it a roll and see how it plays out. So that's so
But
cool.
now my life has changed. I'm happier than I've ever been. And good things are coming.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with more people, more businesses. There's a doctor expanding a team that is interested in my services. I don't know where that's going to lead, but let's have a conversation.
Yeah. And you're
Whereas,
not like relying on them to give you an offer, right? Like they can offer you
no,
whatever, and you can be like, maybe this is good, and maybe this isn't good. Doesn't mean you can't still work together.
right, exactly. At least meet the person, make the connection,
Mhm.
and that's usually just my goal.
Yeah, that's so
So
good. So what are your weeks like now? Like how many patients are you seeing a week? What's fully booked for you?
fully booked for me is 13 clients a week. I have space for 15.
Mhm.
Um, I'm I'm averaging 10 clients a week right now.
Mhm.
And I just don't see that as a problem. Like
Yeah.
I just know I just feel it. And I feel that now that that energy is being pulled away from me, and that focus being pulled away from the business, I just feel that great things are coming, and I'm ready to focus more on the peds population
Mhm.
and let them know I'm here
Yeah. It's
and that
such
I
a
can
valuable
help.
for people, and to be able to have like a specialty like peds, but you can also see adults. It just
Yes.
expands everything, right? That's so cool. I love it. I remember the conversation we were having when you were like afraid to be like, could I see pediatrics? But like, what qualifications do I have? And I'm like, I'm sorry, are you an OT that works in a school? Do you remember that conversation? And you were like, oh yeah, what is wrong with me? Like, what's happening right now?
I was I have no idea.
So funny.
There's always a dramatic life event in the middle of coaching that kind of sends me a little bit out of body, and then I
For
come back,
sure. For
and
sure.
then we go out with a bang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you always get done what you intended to get done, even if you like have a space between where you start and then like maybe have like a quiet space in the middle. Like towards the end, you're always like, oh, my goal was to do this. I think for me, one of the things you were like was you said, well, I really want to make my money back before the end of this container and I haven't done it yet. And I was like, so what's stopping you from making it back? Like make it back tomorrow. And I think 2 days later, you're like, okay, I made my money back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's just learning how to even set goals,
Yeah.
and realistic expectations of myself.
Mhm.
But yes, totally was out of body during that. And I was like, what in the world is stopping me? I thought my space was too small. I thought I needed a lobby. I thought I needed all of these things. And I was like, Margaret, all you need, honey, is your hands and the patient. It's fine.
Yeah.
You can create this space to be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. You don't need some fancy treatment facility in order to treat anybody.
Right.
Don't. Yeah.
But I had felt like I was going to have to kind of change things around or have, a kid space and an adult space. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
And it was just a block in my brain,
But when it moved, it like completely it was just really fun to be able to witness that. It was really cool.
Well, it was like my shoulders could relax more.
Yeah, you were like, oh,
I was like,
be hard. What is happening? Right. No, it doesn't have to be hard. I think too, like a lot of people or just therapists in general, or people that have never had their own business and that are in the corporate world or they're in, the W-2 world of employment, think that it's going to be so hard to start something from scratch. And it's not that hard. Does it take time? Is it hard work? Yes. But it's this kind of hard work that feels amazing when you let it, when you allow it to be easy, when you look for the ways to make it fun, and when you decide things on purpose. It's just so much more easy than doing things over and over again that you don't like every day, day in and day out, which a lot of us subscribe to and do over and over again because we don't know any different. We think we have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just get stuck in that. I just think of my life then. I was like a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Like physically, I was there, but I was not there. Like I was not present. I was not anywhere near the person that I am now,
Yeah. And what an incredible life where you can see 13 clients a week. And then what do you do with the rest of your time? Like, are you just having fun? Are you exploring other hobbies? Like, what are you doing the rest of the time?
The rest of the time I am fly fishing, going camping, spending time with my niece and all of my family, just traveling around. A lot of my friends live like 1 and 2 hours from here. So, we like to make those short weekend trips. And I, since starting the business, I haven't really done any of that. And so I'm making time to start doing that again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now you won't be working your other job. Like you'll just have your business. So you can explore all this free time, which is an incredible life.
And there's so much power in just knowing that you are the CEO of this business. You are the CEO of your life.
Yep.
Fire, promote, all of the things, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
So
it's so fun. Why don't you tell everybody like where your business is located, the name of it, and how they can find you?
The name of my business is Renew Myofascial Release. I am in Memphis, Tennessee, and my website is www.renewmfr.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Renew MFR. And I've got a couple of pediatric discovery days coming up where kids and their parents can come in, and I'll do a consult and a little treatment demo with them so they can see what this is all about. I've got that one scheduled for May 24th, one scheduled for June 14th. And I'm continuing to do the workshops once a month. People are loving it. They come in, they learn the self-care, and it's great. So
That's
I'm doing
amazing.
that. I'm doing that too. So
Good.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with us before we wrap up?
I just want to say that if you have an open mind with coaching, the possibilities are just endless with what you can get out of it, I believe, honestly. And so I've done it twice, and I was in different places in my life both times. And the second time, it was totally different experience for me than the first time. And that was a little confusing. And I had some goals that, like you said, I wanted to have coaching paid for or whatever. And there were some other goals that I was like, I want to have this done before coaching ends. My business doesn't end when coaching ends, Margaret. Like, that's just I'm a dick to myself. Like,
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
yourself a break.
I must accomplish everything in 12 weeks.
Everything all at once.
Yeah. Right. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
It's so good though that
anyway,
you can like see the way your brain works and see the way it holds you back by giving you like unrealistic expectations to have everything solved and then like have no problems going forward, and just allows room for there to be problems and to not make it a problem that you're having,
absolutely.
or whatever it is, because life is always going to life. There's always going to be life circumstances. There's always going to be
Always.
circumstances. Your business isn't linear, just like healing isn't. It's always ups and downs. So
Yeah. And it's healing, just like healing. The business journey has been up and down,
mhm.
and my healing journey has been up and down.
Yeah.
And I was ready to do this work, and I had a little bit of experience with it, receiving it.
Mhm.
And through, John always tells us to receive the work, and about once a month I would see a therapist, or not even that often. Um,
Mhm.
your encouragement to do regular treatment while you're in your business and you're starting your business, do the work, walk the walk.
Yeah.
That
Get
was
treated.
so incredibly valuable, because
Mhm.
I experienced 2 healing crises in that time. Had to close my business for a full week twice,
Mhm.
and had to cancel work. I mean, I had to do all these things, and it just wasn't a problem.
Yeah. You got to be there for yourself.
Yes, and I got to be there for myself, and I was okay with that. But all of that comes with the work and it's all just full circle.
Mhm. And when you're willing to do that, it's much easier for you to hold space for your clients and be like, look, this just isn't a problem. You're having a healing crisis. I know you're scared. I've been there too. It's not a problem. I'm actually excited for you, right? Like,
Yeah,
what's on the other side of it. But if you've never been on the other side of it, you've never
it's
been through
scary.
it. It's so scary. And you're going to avoid talking about having a healing crisis. You're going to like be so worried about clients having a healing crisis. You're never going to be able to get them there because you're going to be
Yeah.
so afraid to do something wrong. So yeah, I mean, I'm a huge proponent of weekly treatment if you can get it, going to Sedona or Malvern, getting an intensive, doing skill enhancement, like whatever you can to expand like your perception as the patient as much as the therapist, because it's really important. Like John always says, you can really only take your patients as far as you're willing to go. And when you're willing to go all the way, then you can get your clients all the way to where they want to go too. And it's magic. So
Yeah, it is, and that's what patients say a lot of the time.
yeah, it is. It just is.
But in being able to have that intuition now, being able to be present now, I'm able to tap into my intuition,
Mhm.
and I can kind of sense when patients are, I can just kind of feel it, and I can dialogue with them,
Yeah.
and that's magic right there, I feel
Yeah.
like.
That's really, really, really cool. Well, I'm so thankful that you had the time and you were willing to come on and share. your journey with us and share all of your personal information and your numbers and all of that. And I just want to say, like, as your coach, like, congratulations for putting the work in and for doing all this work and for showing up even when it was incredibly uncomfortable. Like, I see you, like, I watched you go through that, and I spent a lot of time just in awe of you and your willingness to go really, really deep while you were in coaching and like get everything out of it that you could. So appreciate you being here. And I think for everybody watching, like, they appreciate learning all this stuff from you too, and seeing you as an example of what's possible.
Absolutely. I'm glad to share my journey if it can help somebody else get there too.
Yeah,
for sure. And I'm glad I had you there to help me along the way. I was so grateful for that.
It was my pleasure. I can't believe we both got through this conversation without crying.
I've gotten through my day without crying. I have a feeling it's coming.
Yes, that's so funny. Oh man.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody. I will see you on another episode, on another mini episode of the MFR Coaches podcast shortly. So until then, see you later. Bye.